Your mind is a mirror. The reflection glimmers when you look within. Yet sometimes you catch a glimpse of something else in that mirror, a dark shape moving behind the edges of light. You hesitate, trying to see it clearly. This journey we take together is into the heart of that mirror, to trace the contours of a hidden face among the shadows.
We all know a whisper of darkness within ourselves. Jung called it the shadow, the part of us we have no choice but to carry, sealed away in our unconscious. For most, this shadow lives quietly at the edge of consciousness, only stirring in dreams or moments of anger. But there are those who seem to live inside their shadow, letting it guide them, unburdened by guilt or empathy. They appear almost otherworldly, as if strangers walking among us. It's not our task to wear judgment like a cloak. We are not detectives in white coats. Think of this more like learning a dialect of the psyche, subtle clues in human behavior. We will use what some call a checklist, not to brand anyone with labels, but to see patterns. Through Jung's lens of shadow, persona, and projection, let us meet the traits of what some call a psychopath. Notice the mask they wear. The persona, to use Jung's term, a shiny social mask that reflects what you want to see. A warm smile, an attentive listener, someone who seems too good to be true. And often that is exactly the case. Their words are smooth, effortless. To Jung, persona is how we please the world, and theirs is perfectly crafted to please you, hiding the darkness within. Charm drips from their words like honey, yet honey with no warmth behind it. When they speak, you feel inexplicably pleased by them, flattered, entertained, even admired. But if you look closely, it's a stranger's face grinning back. The smile is wide but doesn't crinkle the eyes. The laughter comes easily but never quite reaches the spirit. A real heart smiles differently. This one is a flawless mirror with no soul behind it. They enter a room like a light breeze but leave no lasting warmth. A seductive persona is a trap. You feel seen, yet you are being seen through. Their kindness and attention are merely reflections of what you bring. They mirror your beliefs and charm you by agreeing. You might catch yourself thinking, finally someone who understands me. That is part of the spell. When someone holds up the shadows inside you and welcomes them, your heart opens. Not knowing you are the prisoner. These people wander the inner realm, yet they wander without compass or map. They often proclaim a grand purpose, a star in their own story. Jung might call it inflation of the ego, a God complex. They believe they are special, born for greatness, above rules and above the rest of us. Every gesture declares, in one way or another, that they are meant for kingship or genius. The finger holds up a crown. The eyes say, "Look here, I am the king." And when the crown falls, it lands on no head. There is nothing there to wear it. This self-worship is a sign. Inside, an empty throne. When you ask for humility or a real confession, you find only silence. They cannot grant what they do not possess. A sincere moment of humility. Somewhere in that hidden self, there's no true king or queen, just a vacant palace with shattered mirrors. The grandiosity is an illusion, a shield keeping that emptiness safe from all eyes. They live for the storm, the drama, the new sensation. Boredom is like torture to them, so they pursue excitement with a white-knuckle grip. Think of them as a child on a merry-go-round, but never satisfied. Once the world becomes familiar, they twist it or break it to make new shapes. Plans mean nothing to them, only the next rush. Jung called this restless need a storm at sea inside, the unconscious tossing them around like driftwood. Impulse is their compass. No anchor weighs them down. They may spring into action at midnight, striking up a conversation, stealing something small, provoking chaos, just to feel alive again. To you, this chaos feels like unpredictable lightning in a clear sky. Psychologists would say they have poor behavioral controls. But Jung would say their shadow runs wild through consciousness, unchecked by reason or remorse. To them, truth is elastic and morality is a toy. Lies flow from their tongue as easily as shadows from dusk. Fact and fiction squirm together in their mind. Nothing feels real or false, only useful. This makes them irresistible storytellers. Details are vivid, emotions seem poured into every line. Yet with time, you realize the stories change. Facts contradict each other. Nothing stays consistent. Each lie is a shadow fleeing. They create darkness to hide another lie behind it. Watch how they weave you into their tale. You may realize, painfully, that you have become a character in their story, not a real person to them. They see you as a mirror reflecting exactly what they want to see. Your fears, your desires, your darkest dreams. If you feel twisted, gaslighted, or blamed by them, understand this. It's Jung's projection at work. Everything they cannot bear inside, they hurl onto someone else, sometimes onto you. There will be no guilt in their eyes, no tiny spark of shame or remorse. After they hurt someone, they might even seem surprised by the reaction. To feel guilt, one needs an inner judge. Jung described conscience as a faint echo of our higher self, reminding us of connection. In them, that judge is silent or asleep. If they have a shadow, it is not bound by law or love. When they do wrong, it is always someone else's fault, fate, circumstance, necessity, never theirs. Look at the wreckage of their path. Shattered relationships, broken promises, people hurt. For most people, such things weigh heavy on the soul. Not for them. Their conscience is a desert. Nothing grows there. Guilt and remorse are fruits of empathy, and empathy is a crop they forgot to plant. Jung had a phrase about vampires and mirrors. In the legend, vampires cast no reflection. Psychopaths, in a sense, cast none either. In the mirror of conscience, in the mirror of your eyes, they show only emptiness. Feelings for them are cold and shallow. Imagine standing before a lake in winter, the surface sparkling, but under the ice, no current flows. They present the calm water, but life is still below. They may smile, may even pretend to grieve, but it's all surface. A real grief carves canyons in a soul, whereas theirs is like a frost pattern on glass, beautiful, intricate, but empty. Loving them is like chasing shadows at twilight. They reach out, touch you, and vanish. They keep you warm as long as the night lasts, then leave you with a cold dawn. Any bond they promise is always conditional. It won't hold when morning comes. Many short relationships spin in their wake, like spent shells scattered on the ground. They move on before roots can grow, always hunting the next leaf of shade to hide under. Watch how they treat others in private. Notice if kindness stops the moment they walk away from the crowd. Are they gentle only when an audience is present? The absence of conscience turns them cruel in secret. Children, lovers, friends, none are safe from someone who sees people as tools. Jung described that unflappable face, the eerie calm while hurting. Inside them, there is no pain for others. If you see someone comfortable with another's misery, that is a deep warning. Evil often travels without a face. Their mirror is broken, but they don't care. They will bend the world around them with a kind word or a smooth lie, but the world does not bend them. Ask yourself, do they ever reflect on their own soul? Do they learn from mistakes, or do they float through life as if detached from cause and effect? Often, the answer is no. There is no genuine self-reflection. They drift, unanchored, unconcerned if they hurt anyone in the process. They might mimic love, sympathy, even faith. Yet it rings hollow. Words like sorry, love, feelings fall from them like worn costumes on a stage. Sometimes they master the role well. Jung would call this identifying with the persona of compassion. But actors break character. Eventually, the mask slips. Often a crisis reveals the crack. When reality presses on them, their true nature and the shadow behind the mask might emerge. You might find yourself unsettled, doubting your own perceptions. They are skilled at playing with your unconscious. Jung taught that we project our shadows onto others. If someone looks like a dark reflection of you, it may be your own shadow leaping out. Yet psychopaths often gleam with parts of us we have hidden, showing what we deny in ourselves. Recognizing them is also recognizing our own potential darkness. The line blurs. Trust yourself, but always check your soul. Perhaps you see all this and wonder, is it always so? Not everyone with cold manners or no visible guilt is a psychopath. We each carry a shadow. Jung said those who never knew their shadow become its victim, like neighbors who neglect a wild animal in the yard. The truth is, the potential for darkness exists in us all. Only some cross the line into cruelty. By learning their face, we also learn our own face in the mirror. Listen to what modern science reveals. Empathy lives in the brain as much as the heart. Psychopaths often have a dimmed light in the regions that feel others' pain. Even looking into your suffering can leave them unmoved. Don't mistake this for strength. It is a wound, not a gift. They may move through life free of hesitation, but they also miss the tremors of empathy that make life meaningful and moral growth possible. They may seem clever, even charming, but sometimes a curious naivete lives there too. They haven't felt what we have, so the world is a puzzle to them. Moral choices are not instinctive. They navigate by selfish necessity. Jung taught consciousness grows through meeting our shadows, through guilt, through compassion. They skipped that meeting. They are the shadow, unbidden in the world. We must take care to see them coming, without being swallowed ourselves. Interact with them cautiously. They are predators that hunt with mirrors. The shadows they cast on your walls might not be yours. Every conversation with them is a dance on a knife's edge. One misstep and they can bleed you with their words. Notice if they seem unaffected by the pain they cause. If insults to their kindness bounce off with no echo. That echo is conscience in us. In them, listen for silence. That silence is a roar in the dark. You have a right to survival, to clarity. When you sit with someone who moves through joy without feeling it, consider that a warning bell. If they take pleasure in cunning games or are always blameless, they might be playing shadow puppets with your perception, and you're in the theater of their mind. Learn the choreography of their twisted dance. Knowing their steps is how you avoid being pulled on stage. But let us not gaze outwards only. The most dangerous creature in any tale often lurks within. After all, the whispered taint you hear in them might be a lost echo of your own denied voice. Jung taught, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. The journey inward is the only one that brings true knowledge. Look in your own mirror now and ask who stares back. We all carry a shadow. We all have impulses we wish were weaker, desires we pretend do not exist. Every good person has a seed of darkness somewhere. Rage in a grudging heart, envy, and quiet corners of the mind. Jung insisted that facing these parts is not weakness, but strength. If we never meet our own darkness, it might one day spring upon us as a stranger. When you sense a chilling emptiness in someone else, consider where that chill begins. Perhaps somewhere in your own soul, you too have felt moments of coldness. Have you ever slipped from caring to merely going through the motions? This is not an excuse for cruelty. It's a spark of compassion. By seeing the darkness in others and saying, "Not me," be sure not to overlook the possibility of maybe me. This is not a call to doubt every shadow, nor to become your own judge. It is a call to awareness. Watch how your heart flickers when something reminds you of them. If you recognize any spark of that darkness in yourself, consider it a guidepost, not a curse. Jung taught that making the unconscious conscious is how we grow. When you know your shadow, you let its light in, and you carry that light back out. We grow when we shine a light on the corners of our own soul. Confess your fears, name your jealousy, understand your rage. Do so quietly, for yourself. There is no liberation without acknowledging what we truly possess. Only then can compassion fill the cracks. If you see cruelty in the world, ask what it awakens in you. If you feel resentment rise in yourself, ask where it comes from. This reflection is the armor that keeps the darkness at bay. In facing our internal darkness, we armor our consciousness. By feeling the cold, we learn to appreciate warmth even more. The Jungian path, individuation, is about uniting all parts of us, light and dark. Do not fear your shadow. It is part of the whole. As Jung said, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Yet, in that acceptance lies freedom from being consumed by it. Be your own lighthouse, not a ship lost at sea. You cannot calm the raging storm around you, but you can prevent other ships from crashing on the rocks. Shine your lamp of empathy outward and also inward. Let its beam illuminate the cracks in your own character so they cannot swallow you. When the psychopath's darkness crashes against you like waves, let your guiding light keep you safe. Keep vigilance over your soul. Not paranoia, but mindfulness. Do not let shadows rise unnoticed within. If you see a familiar face in someone else, do not shrink from it. Instead ask, why does this unsettle me? What part of this lies in my own hidden valley? Let that question be the beginning of your strength. Enlightenment is not attacking others, but knowing yourself so well that no one can use your darkness against you. No one is your ultimate judge. No idea of evil your final sentence, except your own conscience. In the quiet of your heart, ask if your moral compass is true. The daily small choices, a kind word, holding the pain of another, build a fortress against shadow. Cultivate empathy as if it were a garden. Water it daily so its roots grow deep. Empathy is a gift that no trap can steal from you. The journey we have walked is both theirs and ours. By learning the steps of the shadow's dance, we have sharpened our own awareness. The final act is not fear, but empowerment. Grounded in self-knowledge, you hold the pen of your own life story. When darkness visits, light your lantern. Even if it is just a candle in the wind, it is still enough to see by. Turn the light inward now. Stand at the crossroads of outside and inside. The face in the mirror is both familiar and unknown. It holds wisdom that no other mirror can give. The self is whole, and every darkness you meet is part of that mosaic. Carry that wisdom forward as both sword and shield. In the end, the only shadow you cannot escape is within yourself. So know it as you know the world. In the twilight of introspection, let your inner flame burn bright. Let it be a beacon, not of darkness, but of understanding. There is no call more urgent than the call to look within, for there you will find the root of strength and the core of compassion. Do not turn from it out of fear. Hold it gently, keep it true. This is your vigil, to know yourself fully, to be guardian of your own soul. Look outward and inward with equal intent. In watching others, do not turn a blind eye to your own soul's mirror. As you learn to see darkness in the world, also learn to see the parts of darkness in you, any selfish urge or hidden cruelty you might harbor. Only by this balance can you remain truly awake and whole. Let each step you take be guided by genuine empathy. Let each word you speak spring from a heart that has known pain. Let each act be weighed on the scales of kindness. These daily beacons of awareness and care are your true shield against the dark. Walk with open eyes. The world will test you with illusions, sudden storms, and siren calls. But if you carry the sword of self-knowledge and the shield of compassion, you will not falter. Each moment you pause and reflect is a small victory against the shadows. Think of yourself as a lighthouse on a stormy shore. You cannot calm the raging seas, but you can prevent lost ships from crashing on the rocks. Shine the light of your humanity outward and also cast it inward. Let its beam illuminate the cracks in your own character so they cannot swallow you. Be vigilant, but not fearful. Watch not for monsters under the bed, but for the restless darkness in your dreams. In stillness, you might meet your other face. Greet it calmly, and remember, you are more than any one of your shadows. We live in a society that is blind to many shadows. Be the one who looks. Welcome the whisper of conscience as an old friend at midnight. Tend to your heart like a garden in winter. Even when cold, the promise of spring is alive within. This journey through darkness might feel lonely, but you are not alone. Share your light with others. Find kindred spirits who value truth and empathy. Together, watch each other's backs as you wander through twilight, each heart a beacon for the other. If ever you stumble and find fear, remember, even a single candle banishes night from its corner. Every act of awareness, every moment of empathy is a strike of a match in the cave. Keep striking, keep kindling, and finally, make this silent oath. Guard your own soul as carefully as you would protect a stranger's. Let vigilance become your prayer and introspection your daily hymn. When dawn comes, you will find that, through the quiet of the night, you remained awake, whole, and free. In the quiet of the night, hold your ground with compassion. Let your courage kindle gentleness. Remember that every step away from darkness is a step toward the light within. When you rest, let it be knowing that you chose empathy and truth. That choice is your oath. See this journey not as a burden, but as a gift. The greater your awareness of darkness, the more precious the light becomes. Each insight you gain carves a path of safety through the shadows. Embrace the duality in you. Let it guide rather than divide. As dawn breaks, carry these lessons with you like morning dew on the grass. Let them freshen your perception of the world and yourself. Live each day as if you are both the guardian and the mirror of your own soul. And now, take this knowledge deep into your heart. Let it echo there like a quiet hymn. Be the sentinel of your spirit, gentle but vigilant, awake in every moment. Only then will you walk free, knowing you have met the shadows and kept your soul whole.